Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another live stream. Back to another live stream. Back
100 times?
to another live stream.
200 times?
Back.
500 times?
Probably.
Who is Jose Arteaga?
Jose Arteaga is a YouTube content creator with several channels focusing on different themes.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Thing sucks.
His main channels include travel vlogs and lifestyle content. On his travel channel, Jose Arteaga Travels.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
Additionally, he runs a cooking channel and engages in other personal projects that highlight his diverse interests and expertise. Projects and expertise. Projects and expertise. Project, 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 expertise,
Hey guys, how's it going? This is what drugs will do to you right here. Wait, I thought I saw a picture of him. What he looks. Look. Don't do drugs. You'll look like that. All right. So, shout out to everyone out there. Welcome, guys. How's it doing?
Bruh.
Yeah, shout out to Goomer. Sup, Jose? Just dropping in to say what's up. This is De La Chamba. Oh, what do you do for work out there, brother? Because I used to be, on heavy influences of drugs most of my jobs. So I don't know. Do you do drugs while you work, or can you not answer that? But let's just say that there's another reason why I gravitated towards working in the kitchen and working in restaurants, simply because very few restaurants gave drug tests out. But anyways, Sergio says he does pot sometimes. Is that okay? Well, that's what I was going to talk about here, because I asked you guys. I did a little poll. Hopefully you guys can keep answering there. But I asked you guys simply, do you do drugs? And I see that so far I got 4 votes, and one of you guys is a degenerate, or one of you people out there. And apparently, 3 of you have never taken drugs. And, to me,
Bruh.
I don't play that. The reality is that, like it or not, we're all drug addicts. We're addicted to something, anything, whatever. And to me, when I say drugs, when I'm talking about the drug or drugs, I'm not talking about just what you think of as drugs, as what society has put out there as drugs. Don't take these pills. Don't smoke this. Don't do this. No. Okay, you got to remember. Oh, I see you guys are changing. I see you guys are all changing your votes there. Look, the reality is that sugar is a drug. Okay, eating too many pieces of celery could turn into a drug. Love is a drug. There's many drugs out there. Okay, and that's the way I like to look at it. That's really like how I choose to look at it. Now, for the intents and purposes of today's episode, today's video, what we're talking about drugs. We're talking about real drugs, okay? And what do I mean by real drugs? Well, things like sugar, okay? Things like, again, maybe eating too much, all right? Things like actual drugs, heroin, coke, Coca-Cola, cocaine, marijuana, and all of its entities, all of its whatever. Whatever the fuck your drug is, it could be alcohol. It could be double cheeseburgers. All right, it could be a mix. It could be fast food. It could be, but a drug that is not healthy for you. Coffee. All right, cigarettes. Me. You know, Joe Peach out there. No, but you know what I mean. Okay, so when I'm talking about drugs in this sense, I'm talking about something that could have some beneficial benefits to you, and in many cases they do, and are only meant to be used sparingly. But a lot of people abuse these drugs for whatever the reason. And this is why, again, the whole idea of whether you've taken them or not is one question. Whether you're an addict or not. Do you do drugs? That's another question. So, that's the thing. The reality is that, all of us out there, have taken drugs. Now, that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about me. It's always, I've noticed that when I talk, broadly about bullshit, people don't like it too much. You guys like it when I talk about myself. So it is what it is. So we'll talk about my drug life and my drug history. So, as of now, the only drugs I would say I'm addicted to, I would say is smoking the marijuanas. Again, I am not as addicted as I was before. Again, some of you guys already know my story that at the beginning of this year, I gave it up. And I was able to go like good 4 months sober. And it was amazing and very eye-opening. And I'm so happy I did it. But I got back on the drug, and unfortunately, here we are today. I'm still smoking it, but, not as much, very, sparingly compared to before. But it's enough of a problem where I want to get it under control. So that. Okay, so marijuana would be number one. Sugar, number two. I'm getting a little chubby wubby. And so, to me, I got to get rid of that fat, that extra, again, weight that I have put on because I've eaten one too many Twinkies, all right? Because of my fat ass, as living good life and happy life out here. So I'm eating one too many Twinkies. Because of me having the truck, I have not done as much exercise as I've done before in the past. You guys that have followed my other channel, my content and things that I do on, the other channel, on the other parts of YouTube, you guys know. I used to be addicted to, I'm addicted to work, but I used to be also addicted to, doing stuff, physical stuff. And I've, got off that addiction. Now I'm addicted to laziness. And I got to get back on the bike. I've done that. I go out for walks every day and I do more physical exercise. That's part of me, doing the content I'm doing now over there on the channel where I'm going on adventures and we're doing more bikes and we're doing more everything. And I'm selling the truck because the truck, is becoming too comfortable. I'm relying too much on the truck to get around. And because of that, I'm becoming a little bit more sedentary than what I used to be. So, I got to fix that. But the reality is that, when it just comes to drugs, it's just sugar and weed right now. You know what I mean? That's it. And coffee. I would like to get under control, this drug. So I'm addicted to three things: sugar, coffee, and marijuana. And that, kicking the balls there. And I know a lot of you guys are addicted to several things as well. It could be just sugar. It could be alcohol. It could be another drug. It could be, it could be pills. Some people like pills. Whatever. So. Or again, other drugs. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily have to be something that's always associated with something bad or negative. It's just anything in excess is bad or negative. Now, we're going to be talking about drugs, okay? Just regular old, old drugs. Whenever you hear the word drugs, that's what we're going to be talking about today. All right, we're not going to talk about sugar. We're not going to sugarcoat shit. I'm not going to be talking about, being too fat, too nothing. No, we're talking about real drugs. So let's. I think the best way to describe, to talk about my drug life or my drug history is to just name the drugs I've never done. I've never done anything like heroin. I've never done anything like, definitely not fentanyl that I know of. I don't think so. I sincerely doubt it. And that's about it. You know what I mean? I've never done meth. But, I later came to find out that I have done meth, just like you guys have done meth. Not everybody, but if you've ever taken things like Claritin, or if you've ever taken things like Allegra, any one of these allergy medicines, well, the main ingredients for meth are in there. So, apparently, if you take those meds, you're taking a small quantity, a small amount of meth. All right? So I guess I've taken that, but the reality is that, the drugs that I've mainly taken have been, weed and psychedelics. Those are my favorite. Mostly weed, which is a very minor psychedelic, compared to, let's say, DMT. But the reality is that, yeah, I love psychedelics. I don't do them all the time. I'm not a psychonaut, like some people out there. They'd love to take them all the time. I just, from time to time. But in my past, throughout my years, I've done everything. I'm a Cuban from Miami, so definitely believe, that I've done cocaine. I've done, I guess, I don't know, is it not freebasing? When is it when you put the cocaine inside a blunt with weed and smoke that, or you put it inside a cigarette and smoke that? There's something, that's something. It's not crack, that's something else, but it's something in between. So I've smoked cocaine and I've done it the traditional way. I've done that. I've done, what else? Alcohol for sure. You know what I mean? Who hasn't, right? Cigarettes, other tobacco products. I mean, well, no, not other tobacco products. I never chewed or anything like that. But cigarettes, tobacco, weed, every way that you can have weed, I've had weed. I've done a few pills. I think I told you guys Adderall. I took it for a short amount of time. I told you guys that last episode. That's how I quit cigarettes. Believe it or not. Spoiler, all right, for, in case you missed last episode. And I've done all kinds of pills, at the very least, at least tried something, and, many times, it's not my thing, you know what I mean? Again, but I've at least tried it, especially if, I feel it's not dangerous or anything like that. I remember my youth, back when, oxys and what else? What are these things called again? Xanax and all these things, they were recreational drugs. They were all over the place. So when I was like a teenager, late teen, early 20s, they had them everywhere. Miami, it was a drug, like, kind of like a party drug, so people would take those. So I've taken them, I've tried them, not my thing. MDMA, oh yes, again, not my thing. I've rolled with the punches, not my thing. I've never done that. And then when it comes to psychedelics, believe it or not, I've done just about every psychedelic except for one. The one you would think that I've done the most. Acid. I've never done acid. But I've done all the other psychedelics. DMT, phenomenal. Good stuff. But alcohol is a drug, okay? I don't know. It's not about what the government considers blah, blah, blah. All right? I don't want to hear it. All right? It's a drug. All right, and kidding me? If there's, in fact, I love when people say, "Oh, weed is a gateway drug." That's not. Alcohol is a gateway drug. That's the first drug many of us took, very young age. Depending on the culture you were raised in, you probably had it when you were very young. So, but yeah, no, honestly, weed. Alcohol. Alcohol is the gateway drug. But alcohol is the one everybody does. No, I haven't done peyote yet, even though it's everywhere around here. But I haven't done peyote or ayahuasca or anything like that because, those are like heavy fucking, I'm not looking into, I like DMT. DMT is great, It's short spurts, That's phenomenal, I stick to DMT. But mushrooms, I love mushrooms. Mushrooms are great, they're great too, so. And I love all kinds of mushrooms, medicinal mushrooms and psychedelic mushrooms, all kinds of mushrooms. Mushrooms are amazing. All right, so hidden knowledge says anything that you can be addicted to is a drug. That's right. That's the way I consider it, hidden knowledge. I totally agree with you. Andrew, MD area where hidden knowledge says Mexico's treating PTSD with psychedelics and it's working very well. Yeah, so is the USA. The USA is doing the same thing. And with ketamine, I've never done ketamine. Maybe I did. I think I did it once in LA. The guy that introduced me to DMT. But, I didn't like it. It was basically like fucking, not that I didn't like it. It was all right. If a drug to me is all right, it's not enough to continue. You know what I mean? You only, again, I feel everyone's the same thing. Everyone has the same thing, like kind of like a same, what is it? Like a same mentality when it comes to this, that you're only going to really do a drug over and over again that you love. And so, for example, when I first did DMT, I was like, wow, this is like fucking phenomenal. And, I did it, multiple times until, anyone that's done those drugs, or done these things, eventually your body tells you, okay, we're done, enough, get out, we're, moving on now. And so, I did it, to the point where my body was like, all right, enough, it wasn't that much, it wasn't, crazy amounts or anything, but, you do it enough until your body says enough, you pull back and enjoy the benefits. But yeah, DMT, but honestly, weed has been like the drug. And so, really, I feel like when we're talking about like drugs, we got two types of drugs. We got the drugs that are the recreational. Again, everything is different for everybody. So alcohol is recreational for me. I know plenty of people where alcohol is an everyday, daily thing. Some people use weed recreationally. I use weed every day. So that's an addiction. I'm addicted to drug. And same thing as coffee. I'm addicted to coffee. I'm addicted, some things you got to do every day. Sugar, whatever, right? And so so that's the thing. And so everyone is different. Everybody uses drugs differently, and they consider it very differently. Viagra for some people or Cialis or whatever could be daily for some people. Yeah, hold on. Let me get the sound effect there. Bruh. Or use recreationally. But with that said, so for me, I use, drugs differently as well. And so, for example, alcohol is, for me, recreational. When I use psychedelics, it depends. Sometimes it's recreational. Sometimes it's medicinal. All right. When I do weed, it's usually just, self-medicating, but more like an addiction like sugar. So it's not a good relationship per se. All right. So, I do weed, recreationally, medicinally, daily, habitually, addictively, whatever. It falls under all those categories, right? But for example, with alcohol, it's just more of fun, so recreational. I'm not addicted to it. It's not something I need or want. It's not something, you know what I mean? And so, so it just falls under one category. And so, like I said, everything is just different. And so for me, cigarettes was also like a very bad drug that I did for a very long time. And I was so happy I was able to get rid of that. Sugar has been probably, a drug that has been, something I've been combating just as long as weed. Probably, I've had more success, fighting sugar because I used to weigh over 280 pounds. And then eventually I was like, once I got to that weight, I was like disgusted with myself. And, that was a moment I said, all right, enough. And so how did I lose all that weight where I got to under 200 pounds? Well, what I did is that I just stopped eating sugar. That's it. I mean, I did a little more than that. I stopped eating sugar and worked out. Did both. That's why I wasn't all flabby and weird. That's why I've been able to maintain it, because eventually, years down the line, I moved down to Mexico, and then, the food out here is amazing, and they love sugar. They love, I mean, again, it's a different kind of addiction, like in the U.S., you're more addicted to processed foods. Here, it's just, breads and sweets and things, homemade things, the food itself could be high carb in many cases, right? So even though it's healthy, still healthy, there's, still a limit with everything. But long story short, I just started slowly gaining weight. Now I was able to keep it off, by what I was talking about earlier, getting on the, walking a lot, exercising a lot, by biking a lot, doing all those things, right? But then, again, I got the truck, and eventually, I just stopped doing that as much. I still do a lot, but not as much as I used to. And so, well, a combination of eating sweets again, not working out as much or being as active as I used to be, I've gained some weight. Now, again, not a lot of weight, but enough weight for me to be like, all right, I got to push it back a little bit. Because, again, I told you, I was a little under 200, like 190 something. 190 long, 196, I don't know. But now I'm like, up to 220. And like, all right. Gotta, bring it back. And again, I'm not, trying to be, losing, I don't know. I'm just trying to get healthy and feel better. And that's it. But that's another story for another day. It has nothing to do with drugs, right? Because drugs, again, now I get addicted to feeling healthy. All right, you get addicted to that too, because I used to do that. Like eventually, once I started getting healthy, I lost weight, I wasn't eating sugar. You get addicted to feeling that way, so it's very easy for you to be like, no, I don't want that sweet. No, I don't want that pizza. No, it's okay. I'm gonna go for a walk or a run or whatever, because then you start getting addicted to feeling fucking great. You start getting addicted to feeling good, and so. There's many addictions, but the reality is that, it can go both ways, and it's in society these days makes it so much easier, for you to fall victim, I guess, but for you to get addicted to something bad, get addicted to, drugs, get addicted to unhealthy food, unhealthy habits, taking pills, taking all kinds of shit instead of, being addicted to the proper things like, living a healthier lifestyle. And so when you have all this choice, most people always tend to go through, the funner thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'll do the drugs. I'll do the, I'll eat the donuts and I'll sit on my ass. Like that's a lot easier, than going out and working out and eating a steak every night, for example, or whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever it is you got to do, all right, to live a better. So, and that's the thing. Back in the day, I feel like a lot of people didn't have much of a choice. And so obviously that's why everybody was a lot healthier, because everybody had to live the healthy lifestyle. There was no other lifestyle. And then, obviously there was, drugs and alcohol and all these things were available. Gambling can be an addiction, all these things are addiction, but it was just less prevalent, even though it was still prevalent, very prevalent, but not as prevalent as today, where now these things are just way more readily available, even like things like gambling. How about that? That was one of my addictions as well. Like I considered that a drug. When I was very young, I worked at a sports bar, and it was very high-end sports bar, and there was always a lot of money around and flowing around. And long story short, again, sports, young, dumb, alcohol, other drugs, other people, other whatever. And long story short, yeah, you get addicted to gambling. I got addicted to gambling. And for a short time, made a lot of money, lost a lot of money. But that's also an addiction. That's also could be a problem for some people that cannot control that problem. And for me, it was very easy. I know I like it, but it's not like I need it. I just stay away from those things. You know what I mean? So look, like earlier this season, me and my friend were doing the, those parlay bets, those bets on the football games and things like that. And look, and I just started off with $20, and was doing great, making money, But then I think by week 3, week 4, I bet it all. I couldn't bet like a normal person. You know what I mean? It's like I keep, wanting to more, bigger, like more adrenaline, more whatever. And anyways, long story short, I lost it all, because I just kept, betting it all. And I got, we got up to like almost $200, out of $20. But the point was that, yeah, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it was just that once that happened, that's it, we're done. You know what I mean? I was going to throw $20. In fact, I threw $20 in. And once I made my first 40 or 60 or whatever I made, I cashed out the 20, all right? And then I was just playing with free money. You know what I mean? That's what I did. So that's what when I lost the money, I was like, we're done. You know what I mean? Whatever. And why? Because I wanted to keep going. And so I was like, no, we're not. And that's it. And I just enjoyed the misery of football season like a normal person without having to bet. With alcohol and other drugs. Anyways, that's how normal people do. Anyways, so that's it. But at the end of the day, I feel like everybody has, some sort of drug problem. My drug problems are not unique. Me smoking weed, drinking coffee, that's not really eating sugar. That's not that, uncommon. It's actually more common than we would like to think. And that's another problem too. The fact that, everybody, has a lot of these similar problems. So it's, if you are the only fat person walking around, what's, easy to get fat shamed even if nobody says anything to you. Because, you have eyes, unless you're blind, right? But you get to see it, and vice versa, you're living in that world or whatever. But then, if everyone's fat like you, well, then whatever. You know what I mean? Like, we're all fat. If everyone's a drug addict like you in society, well, then you don't feel bad for being a drug addict, whatever. Whether you're taking some pills, whether you're taking some Ozempics, whether you're taking some, whatever it is. Look, how about this? I don't want to mention names, but I got, people that I know. And, this person, their husband, takes Xanax. And this guy's addicted to fucking Xanax. I've known him fucking forever, right? And he's taking Xanax. And so they look down on me, right? Because I smoke weed, but then they don't look down on this person, all right? That, a lot of mutual people know. They don't look down on this person because they take Xanax, all right? Even though that's a way worse addiction. But they don't look at it like an addiction because it's prescribed by a doctor and it's his medicine. So he can, feel better and, anxiety attacks or whatever the fuck, And so, and that's the thing. And so there's also a stigma when it comes to drugs, is why is it okay for one person to take a prescribed medication, okay? And not okay, for someone to cure that same problem with herbs. Like for example, you could take ashwagandha if you got an anxiety problem. You don't got to take some anxiety pill or whatever. What a Xanax is that for, anxiety? I don't fucking know, but that kind of stuff. And so I think, right now we're living in a really cool time where, drugs, that word is because of the prevalence of drugs in society. It's not a bad word anymore. And they're trying to make it a bad word, by introducing a lot of these, bad drugs, with all the problems out there on the streets. But the reality is that, I think a lot of people are discovering the fact that, hey, there's a lot of, real medicinal drugs that can also be abused, but they're very helpful and a lot better, such as, again, like cannabis, or, other herbs and spices. Look, for example, Christian, something that she's been doing every morning now is that she's been taking oregano oil. We can't really get oregano oil. It's expensive, whatever. So we kind of just make our own. So we get like a spoonful of oregano, all right? And we put it in some water. So about a cup of water, we'll get like a mug of water, whatever. And we'll boil the oregano in there and we'll, like 6 minutes or something, let it steep. Like oregano, the same oregano you put on your food, okay? You let it steep, like a tea, and like 6 minutes or something like that, and then that's it. And then you strain the oregano bits out, and yeah, the house smells like you're cooking some Italian food. But long story short, you drink that oregano oil, which is oregano water, which is very bitter. But holy crap, man, it's like you took like a Monster energy drink or a Red Bull, all right? And it's very antiviral, antibacterial, anti-something. I don't know what it is, but it gets the motor going. And I mean, just one thing. There's many things like that. And that's the reality of it. And so, like right now, I think a lot of people, again, the whole notion of what drugs are. It's kind of like, losing its luster in that sense, simply because the fact that, a lot of people really understand, what's really going on, everything from like big pharma, the drug problem on the streets, how they try to, demonize, real medicines. And then they try to, push forward, fake medicines, or, laboratory manufactured medicine as opposed to, something that comes from the earth. Because a lot of these, medicines, these pills, that Big Pharma makes and gives, they are derived or they have a derivative. They kind of come from the original plant source. So what they really do is that, they find the plant, that has, the ability to, stop pain. All right. And then they go on ahead and say, okay, this is the chemical compound. Well, instead of growing it out there and just kind of doing, giving people herbs and spices, why don't we, hear me out, why don't we go to the, laboratory, all right, and replicate, the chemical compound of this plant, all right, with chemicals, which is, a lot cheaper and a lot cheaper to produce and manufacture. And now all of a sudden we can just replicate the same chemical compound and put in a pill and sell them that, as opposed to, having them just take the actual medicine. And the big problem is that when you ingest the pill, Okay, it doesn't give you the same reaction as if you were to ingest the plant or the real medicine or herb or drug or whatever it is, because when you do that, your body, they recognize it completely different. And when you take the plant form, your body is able to process it, as opposed to just getting the chemical compound where the body's like, what the fuck is this? So, like the Temu version, the pills like the Temu version, right? Of what you actually ordered. All right. And, obviously, it doesn't work out as well. But that's the thing, that's like a big part of it. And so, right now, it doesn't matter what the problem is, a lot of people that have a drug problem, for example, me smoking a lot of weed, a lot of it just comes from the demonization of the weed, the demonization of the problems that I might be having or other people I might be having, and that, have caused them to use weed, right? Whether it's a PTSD or anxiety, whatever, and I can go on and on. And again, everything is more like, for a lot of people, they want, different solutions. They try to self-medicate. They try to this or that. And, many people use different drugs for many things. Some people even get addicted by mistake. A lot of people that end up on the fentanyls or whatever, or end up on the, whatchamacallit? Looking for heroin. A lot of them, they were just regular old Joes, living a regular old life. And before they knew it, they had to, go on ahead. They had an injury at work. They gave them some Oxycontins, because that's what the doctor said that you have to take. And then all of a sudden, those sorry, I was distracted doing something else. But anyways, yeah, like I said, some working old Joe, gets an injury at the job, at the construction site, doing whatever, and then the doctor prescribes him, some fucking Oxycontin, for some bullshit ankle injury. All right, the guy takes him, and then before you know it, he's out there on the street, looking for his next hit. Because, obviously, those pills run out, and, now he's addicted. And so, there's many ways. And people also get addicted by eating one too many donuts, not knowing that it's bad or really bad. Again, as a child, again, there's many parents out there that give their children, a bunch of, donuts and fucking bullshit. And by the time they grow up, now they're fat kids and addicted to it, like me. Well, a lot of us. But whatever, you know what I mean? And there's many things like that. So, I think that, shout out to Mike out there in the audience. Shout out to you, brother. Yeah. By the way, Mike is the guy that created the intro and the outro. Okay, so you'll hear it again later when we finish the show. So shout out to Mike. Shout out to him. Where's the? Hold on, I got my sound effect. That was a bit loud, but anyways, you deserve it. So shout out to you. But anyways, what was I saying? But yeah, but that's the thing. I think that right now it's like this whole kind of weird, confusing time that we're exiting when it comes to like our whole notion of drugs. And now a lot of us are, waking up to the fact as to what drugs are and the effects of some of these things, the good, the bad, the ugly. You know what I mean? Meaning it's like, more people these days are, more willing and to all of a sudden, they have like some sort of medicinal situation. Sorry, they have some sort of ailment that they need to solve. A lot more people these days are like, hey, all right, let me see if I can get like a natural, organic medicine first, as opposed to big pharma. All right, and same thing. Yeah, that's right, Lodak. Shout out to you. Thank you for joining us. Welcome back. Anyways, welcome back. All right. Anyways, and all that good stuff. So, all right, give me 1 second. I got something in the kitchen, so I'm gonna play this for you guys for 1 second. All right, and I'll be right back. All right. Thanks for your patience. You got China out there too. China and North Korea. They sent soldiers out there to the Ukraines, and they're fighting for Russia or some shit like that. So yeah, that's happening. Hey, the Chinese, those soldiers, they gotta get some training somehow. It's hilarious because when you see like the Chinese soldiers out there doing, fighting a war, they're like, hey, well, we thought this was gonna be like modern. What is it? What's that? What's that? Gears of War? No, Gears of War. What's that fucking video game you guys all play? Modern Warfare, whatever the fuck. They all thought it was like that. And then they were out there like, man, I thought we were just gonna be out here running around shooting things, like playing laser tag. It's like, fuck, we gotta hike all this time. Fuck, we gotta eat this shit. We gotta camp out. We gotta, we actually gotta be real soldiers. And it's funny because the North Koreans, they're on vacation. You know what I mean? Are you kidding me? The way the North Koreans get treated in fucking North Korea. Having a German drill sergeant, sorry, not German, sorry, a Russian drill sergeant, you know what I mean? Like, that's nothing, they're fucking loving it. Now, they suck, obviously, they're fucking North Korean soldiers, but I know, side note, we're not talking about drugs, but hey, the world right now, feels like we're taking a drug. In fact, the whole world right now feels like we're on fucking some weird-ass psychedelic fucking trip. Anywho's. Yeah, you guys know how to get me on a rant for sure. But yeah, it's very easy, right? But no, long story short, yeah, like it's hilarious because you see the North Koreans, obviously they're loving it. They suck, but at least they're training, they're learning on the job. That's the whole point. By the way, World War II, the U.S., our army sucked, and so, when we first started fighting our first wars, do some history, read some books, you'll find out that, yeah, we were green as fuck as well, and that's why we wanted to get into the war so that we could, eventually get an amazing military. But we were, when we went into World War II, we were just as bad, all right? FYI, all right? But anyways, I digress. But the Chinese soldiers, they were the surprise because the Chinese soldiers, the soldiers, from China, they couldn't even handle a fucking simple hike. Let alone anything else you got to do out there. The North Koreans were a lot more prepared, that's for sure. So, again, all these people always fear-mongering about China, and all this shit. Listen, I get it. They're an economic beast of a monster of a thing, and that's one thing. But, if anyone's out there scared of the Chinese military, listen, man, I got a story I got a bridge to sell you, all right? Are you kidding me? The fucking Chinese military is a joke, and they've always been a joke throughout history. But that's another story, all right? But long story short, I would be more concerned about the Russian military, like for real. And by the way, it seems like we're gonna, stop that war finally, with this president, and since they get along, we won't be fighting Russia. Thank Gads, all right? But it doesn't mean that other shit ain't going down. So this is why I think, China and North Korea are sending their soldiers out there because they know, that once Trump is in office and all that shit, things, going to change real quick. And they're going to stop the Russia, the Ukraine war thing. And they're not going to have that battleground, to practice on. Because that's what they're doing. They're practicing for World War III. That's already here. Like it or not. So, get ready, See, if I was younger, I would be in Mexico doing the same thing. And, people would say I was draft dodging, right? But that's coming soon to USA near you. I'm already too old for that shit, I think. I hope. Anyways, I can already I already see my fucking letter in the mail. Is like sending me out there to the front lines, to Taiwan's, Anyways, all right, let me see. So yeah, good stuff. Hilarious stuff. But anyway, shout out to everyone out there. Welcome. Okay, so let's check out the poll again. It says, do you do drugs? And 44% said yes, and 56% said no. So apparently 56% of the audience doesn't drink coffee, doesn't eat sugar, is not addicted to, other, they don't take any pills, no vitamins. Well, no vitamins. Vitamins and minerals and supplements don't really count per se. But I guess nobody, does those things. So shout out to them. Who knew? I guess I guess me and the 44% of you guys out there, we're more degenerates than we thought we were. And that's the thing too. I know there are people out there that are clean slate as fuck. You know what I mean? That are very even Steven clean. We know that. We know many people like that. Like my sister, for example, she might just be addicted to food, or she's not fat, but she, she's like me, maybe, and what I'm saying is that, sugar, food, that's about it. Other than that, she don't drink, she don't do drugs, she don't do nothing. You know what I mean? At all. You know what I mean? So same as a husband, they don't do nothing. They don't drink, and boring as I'm not me. I'm all about all of it. You know, me and some of my cousins, forget about it. You know what I mean? We throw down. But, that's, part of my family's like that. Part of my family's crazy like me. Do all the drugs, all the parties. And other people, very, very, very straight edge. Look, even my mom. My mom is very straight edge. You know what I mean? But I know she partied when she was younger and did all kinds of things. But, she was never did drugs. Maybe drink. That's it, maybe. You know what I mean? During her younger days, in her early 20s, that's it, I guess. And again, I know people, again, my mom's age, that have shit. I got uncles, that are fucking, doing all the drugs just like me. You know what I mean? Imagine me at 65 and I'm retired. The fuck? You think I'm not gonna, have my fucking scotch, smoking my weed, doing my whatever else, taking a mushroom, what kind of gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Let's go. Let's fucking go. Eating my fucking donut, I give a fuck, Come on. I live life. So, just reading some comments. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, this is pretty cool, huh? This video here. Oh no, addiction. In fact, we saw it this year. People addicted to politics. The whole politic thing. You know what I mean? Like how people have been, addicted to that. The left, the right. I was very surprised. I think a lot of you guys as well. We were very, very surprised to see not the win. I kind of knew he was going to win. All right. By the way, he looks great in that dress, doesn't he? Hold on.
Bruh.
Anyway, so I was going to say, I was not expecting. I was expecting Trump to win. I was expecting him to win in a landslide too. What I was not expecting was for the left, the opposition, for them to just quiet. They're quiet. Yeah, we know a few of them are out there, complaining and yelling and upset, but it's like nobody cares. Nobody listens anymore. That's how much things have changed. That was more of a surprise to me than anything else. But yeah, that's an addiction as well. People on the far left, they're very, very addicted, indoctrinated. They're very, how do I say this? It's like a religion, like a cult. The super far left. Look, same as the super far right, okay? But we're not talking about that. We're talking about that. Because the far right these days, super far right, you rarely see them. Hardly see them. It's the ultra hard left. That's like the people that are addicted to, whatever the fuck it is they're addicted to. But like I said, the whole politics thing, people get addicted to politics. People get addicted to sports. People get addicted to all kinds of fucking shit. Look, I'm another addiction, speaking of sports, is my sports, Miami Dolphins. Fuck, they suck. They fucking suck, all right? And yet, I'm fucking addicted to them. I'm addicted to, their losing ways. You know what I mean? Like, actually, I wish they would win. I wish I could just fucking win already. Stop being so crappy. But the addiction. And so, it's like you get addicted to pain. You can get addicted to pain as well. And so, there's all these things, people, they don't consider it. It could be a drug. People that get into these, like, toxic relationships. And, they feel the pain. Look at Lodak. He's a Bills fan, all right? And he loves, to cheer for the Bills, to the point where, he's willing to sacrifice, going to these games or watching these games, whatever, being a fan, watching them make it all the way to the playoffs, watching them make it even to the Super Bowl, and then losing. He's addicted. That's like hardcore pain, I mean, I'm just a loser, but that's another kind of pain. That's like, you're jerking off and you're about to let loose and then you hold it back and you just leave it there. It's not good. Or, you're doing your woman thing, whatever it is you're doing out there. Sorry, I didn't mean to get a little graphic there. But Lodak, poor guy. I hope. Yeah, fuck you, Bills, right? Fuck you. No, anyways, no, I hope you guys win. I hope, you get your ring. I never hated Brady. I never hated the Pats. I fucking hate you guys, all right? I hate the fucking Bills, all right? But you know what? it's more about the Dolphins. I hate the Dolphins more. All right, that's really the reality. All right, I hate myself. Okay, for being a Dolphins fan, for allowing myself, to be, a fan of such a team. In fact, here, let me show you guys a picture I took earlier today. So you guys can see. Okay, there I am with my team. I took the team came out here to take pictures or whatever, do fan stuff, and look at me. That's me there. All right. I went to go visit them at their training facility. That's them in the training facility, as you guys can see. So again, there's many addictions, there's many things. Okay, all right. No, but yeah, hopefully the Bills win, but we all know they're not. So just same thing with the Dolphins, But anywho's, that's the point I'm trying to make. It could be sports, it could be politics, it could be season 5 of America's Got Talent or whatever the fuck you watch out there. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. There's many drugs out there. Again, a lot of people are addicted to TV, to Netflix. There are a lot of people are addicted to these bad habits. And so, look, at the end of the day, money's an addiction. Money's an addiction, man. I know many people, man, that are addicted to that drug. And, look, I could easily put a lot of my efforts or most of my efforts into making money, and I wouldn't be struggling the way I am. But, I discovered a long time ago a little secret that, the real magic happens in this little kind of zone, all right, where you kind of just, have enough to not worry too much about the bills. You fuck the bills. You don't have to worry too much about, paying your bills. Anyways, and be in a nice little spot, where you're comfortable, you live in your life, but you don't have all the luxuries to make you comfortable to the point where you're not doing anything. In fact, you're just comfortable enough where you can create magic, okay? But you're uncomfortable enough where you're hungry and you want more, and it allows you to build and be creative and do all these things. So, it's like it's a little balance there. But I've had money. I've been there, done that, and it's all right. It's cool, but it gets boring quick if you ain't got something going on. And the reality is that when you got something going on, in order for you to really keep that fucking engine moving, you got to stay hungry. And obviously, if you're fucking eating, Kobe steaks and shit, and you can afford to go to Burger King every night, or whatever it is you do, it's a little different. You're not as hungry as opposed to like when you're really hungry. Not just hungry with, hey, I need food, but hungry. Hungry to get it, hungry to win, hungry to anything. So, again, right now with the Bills, you guys are hungry, because you guys have been fucking starving forever. Dolphins are not hungry. You could tell. That's why we suck, But it's many things like that, And so even with politics, you can see the right, the people supporting Trump and supporting that, very hungry. Very hungry for change, very, desperate, and that's it, at their wits' end for change. So, that's what wins. And so it's the same thing with drugs. It's the same thing with everything else, A lot of people, they use drugs, as a crutch because they don't want change. They don't want to get better. They don't want something, that's going to really, better their lives. A lot of people would rather just sit there and complain about it. And drugs, offer a perfect excuse. Whatever that drug is. Again, it could be complaining. There's a lot of people that are addicted to complaining. There's a lot of people that are addicted to playing the violin. And woe is me. What is it? Let me hear it. I got the little violin here. Here you go. Playing the little. Yeah, so. Man, the fucking Dolphins haven't done shit even with Marino, all right? Don't get me started on that. All right? We haven't done shit for 50 fucking years and counting, all right? Fuck the Dolphins. Enough of the Dolphins. But anyways, so yeah, all right, so where are we at? Where are we at? All right, what other drugs? What else can I talk about? Here, let's go back to, let's play a little music here while I figure out what the fuck I'm gonna is, with drugs. Anyone out there taking drugs? If so, what drugs? And so on and so forth. So, again, a lot of people out there, you might not even think you're addicted to drugs. I think a lot of people that even answered in the poll that says, do you do drugs? I think a lot of you guys do drugs. Anyways, but I think a lot of you guys do drugs as well out there. You just don't know or don't consider, coffee a drug. Don't consider sugar a drug. Don't consider, your Xanax a drug. Don't consider, some of the things that you do a drug. But I do. I think anything that's done on a daily basis is a drug, whether you like it or not. And, even if it's sucking your thumb. And, that's the reality of it. You know what I mean? It's not to be ashamed or anything. Drugs have their purpose. They have, sometimes they are there like a safety blanket. They are there like sucking your thumb. They are there as a crutch. They do help, with certain things at certain points in your life. But that's if there's also a line, like kind of like a fine line between, they're here to help you and they're here to hinder you. And for a lot of people, they fall into, the point of where these drugs start to hinder them, hinder their life, hinder their progress, hinder, the quality of their life, hinder the, the health, everything, so, and all that good stuff. So, all right, guys, I think we're going to wrap this up. I don't know what else to talk about here. I think we've talked about drugs thoroughly enough. But yeah, But yeah, Dolphins, don't get me started on the Dolphins. I could talk about the Dolphins all day and, most people don't care or want to hear about them. But, at the end of the day, we all have our addictions, in my opinion, whether they're good or they're bad. Whether they're temporary, whether they're long-term, and so on and so forth. And, a lot of it really has, to do with you. Like how far do you allow these things to take you? Do you allow them to, in a sense, be a part of your life but not ruin your life? Or, are you allowing these things to ruin your life? Okay? You get as deep as to, living on the street and being a bum, ruined your life. Or, you got a regular job, a regular life, regular family, a regular everything, but you're addicted to fucking sugar or addicted to some other bullshit. And that is really messing with you and your life and your world. So, all right, guys. Well, with all that being said, don't use this as a video to discourage you from using drugs, and don't use it as a video, to encourage you to use drugs. Again, make your own judgments. All right. All drugs have a time and a place, and everyone's different, including myself. All right, I think I gotta get going. I got somebody at the door. But with all that being said, guys, 1 second. I'm gonna play this one more time here. All the dogs are barking at. So, anyways, regardless, it's time for me to get out of here. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for having fun. Well, I hope you guys had fun today, talking about drugs, and I hope you guys, again, do drugs, but, do them sparingly, okay? Don't get addicted or anything like that. And I totally understand when you say no to drugs, but they don't listen. Whatever, so stupid. All right, guys. Well, all right, with all that being said, I want to thank you again for joining me. I appreciate you guys. Thanks again for watching, and again, enjoy your Thanksgiving, where you're probably going to be very heavily medicated anyway, all right, since you already know what's up. Whether you enjoy the family or not, definitely going to be heavily medicated on something. So enjoy your Thanksgiving Turkey Day. I really hope you guys have a fun and awesome week. And thanks again for hanging out with me today. And I'll see you guys the week after Thanksgiving, all right? So next Thursday, I won't be here, but I will be here the following Thursday. All right, so thanks again for hanging out with me today. Love you guys, appreciate it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys. Appreciate it. Laters. Oh, wrong one. Hey, guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another live stream. Back to another live stream. Back
100 times?
to another live stream.
200 times? 500 times?
Probably. Who is Jose Arteaga?
Jose Arteaga is a YouTube content creator with several channels focusing on different themes.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Thing sucks.
His main channels include travel vlogs and lifestyle content. On his travel channel, Jose Arteaga Travels.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
Additionally, he runs a cooking channel and engages in other personal projects that highlight his diverse interests and expertise. Projects that expertise. Projects that expertise. Projects, project, projects, project, projects, project, projects, project, projects, project, projects, project, projects, project.